Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amber if you're new here, and I am a dietetics student. Today I want to talk to you guys about my undergraduate experience changing my major so many times and how I stumbled upon dietetics. So if you're interested in that, just keep watching. So I guess the story begins with preview, which is essentially orientation for colleges, and this is in the summer before you start your classes. And you go, you tour the campus, you choose your major, and during this time I was very unsure of what I wanted to do. I knew I loved science and something in the health field. I was obsessed with Grey's Anatomy, so I thought I was going to be a surgeon when I was in high school. But when it came down to it in college, I did not know what to choose. I did not know which route to go. And the previous staffers I had didn't really know how to help me with this big life decision, which is understandable. So they encouraged the exploratory track, which is essentially you can take a bunch of different classes to kind of find what you're interested in, what you're passionate about before you declare a different major. And this was helpful in some ways, but also I feel like may have wasted some of my credits and time, and eventually throughout college I ended up going into excess hours. So if I were to go back, I would try to be a little more strategic about which classes I took in the exploratory route. Definitely do your research on a few majors you might be interested in, and although you can explore, try to pick some classes that could set you up to be on track for one of those majors, if that makes sense. Don't just do random classes all over the board. Try to maintain some level of a theme, and I think that would be helpful for any students going in who are also dealing with this dilemma. And then, so my freshman year, I took an array of classes, and a lot of them were easy, and I still felt very lost, but I felt the pressure to choose a major at the end of my freshman year and just stick with something and work towards something. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or the goal at the end. I didn't know what I was working for. So after some thinking, I figured that veterinary track sounded like a good idea. I liked medicine and I liked animals, so somehow I landed on that. And I went full throttle with this passion. I started volunteering, I started shadowing. I shadowed for a whole summer at a small animal vet clinic, and I was an animal sciences major, which was a little different than what I expected. I probably should have done more research yet again before I chose this, but I thought it was going to be more animal biology, which is what I was interested in, and it was a little more on the agricultural side about livestock and meat and horses, which it was all very interesting, but not what I was looking for, and was kind of my first indicator that maybe this isn't what I meant to do. So after doing that for all of my sophomore year, I had a conversation with an advisor, and this was a very tough conversation to endure, but basically it was very worth it because she helped me realize that I was not in it for the right reasons, and to be a vet, you have to be super passionate about it. And I noticed this in my classes. I felt like everyone else was die hard, I will be a veterinarian no matter what, because the schools in America are very hard to get into. It's super competitive. So for the amount of loans and work to go into it, I just realized that this probably isn't what I should be doing. So I left that appointment in tears, feeling yet again lost and feeling like I was really falling behind my peers. It's the end of my sophomore year now, and I still don't know what I'm doing. That kind of leads me to another piece of advice, which is to find an advisor that you really trust and you think has your best interests in mind, and don't be afraid of having tough conversations with them, and don't be afraid of seeking help from advisors and the services your school offers. They offer them up for students for a reason, and in my case I really benefited from speaking to many advisors on many occasions, and even talk to other people in the field. If you're in a student organization, don't be afraid to reach out to the older people and ask questions. So after I decided that the animal sciences and pre-vet track was not for me, I switched into the biology major because I felt like this would give me the broadest major and classes to pick from any of the other health-related fields like pre-med, pre-PA, pre-nursing. Like, I wasn't exactly sure, but I felt like I could get the prerequisites for whichever I chose, so just buying me some time. And I, again, quickly realized that the classes required for this major weren't exactly what I was interested. At this point, I think it was my spring semester of junior year. Upon further investigation and asking more questions, I found the nutrition major, and I was like, wow, these classes sound interesting and also sets you up well for a lot of health fields. And for anyone who is not in college yet or going into college, if you are on like a pre-law or pre-med track, you can do whatever major you want as long as you still get the prereqs for when you're applying to those schools or future programs. But so with nutrition, it just seemed to align the best for me. I was like, I really need to decide what I'm doing. Like, it's only almost my senior year and I'm still feeling lost. And I decided upon pre-PA track, so physician's assistant, because I felt like their position in the medical team was kind of what I was looking for. So I was taking the prereqs for that. Eventually, the nutrition started to take over my interests, and the requirements I would have to do to be a PA weren't sounding as appealing for this point in my life. And this was also aligning with a lot of personal things. You know, my faith played a really large role in this decision, and I was praying, I was seeking God for answers throughout this whole time, but especially during this season in my life. And how it all kind of came together was really awesome and affirmative for the decisions that I made. So I was taking nutrition classes and I decided this is what I want to do. I want to make this a career, but I don't know how to do that with just a nutrition degree. I found dietetics through friends who were definitely placed in my life for a reason. I have heard of dietetics, and my friend, I asked her a bunch of questions and she really helped me get to the point of investigating it and then switching over to dietetics. So this was right before my senior year began. I was finishing the summer semester and fall was beginning, and I switched to dietetics. So if that gives you any confidence that you can switch later on in college, then take that, because who would have thought? I did have to cram a lot into my senior year, but it all worked out. As I said, in the grand scheme of things, they just happened to come together, and yeah, the rest is history. But really, it was a lot of work and catch up to do, and that's why I have to take 2 classes this summer while most of my friends graduated in May. But honestly, I think everything happens for a reason, and I've used all my experiences to make me a more diverse applicant, and I just showcase what I learned while investigating these different experiences and how they taught me things that, you know, some of my other peers may not have learned. And, you know, everyone's path is different, and that is something we should embrace and be okay with. I mean, no one made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing, but it was just a lot of internal pressure. But it's okay not to know. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make mistakes. That would just be my experience in undergrad. It was honestly, yes, it was stressful a lot of the times, but it was also the most life-changing and amazing experience that I could have had. And I'm just so appreciative for the school that I went to and the people I met and, you know, everything along the way. So if you guys found this video helpful in any way or you learned anything from it, please just give a like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please leave them below. I would love to answer them and help in any way possible. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day. Bye!